Just how likely is 80,000 or more for Bitcoin in the month of June? As we get into this video, looking at some probabilities for some more long-term setups and then threading into the more, I'd say medium term in this case, as to what to be looking for if certain things are likely to happen. Now, I do want to reiterate my overall stance on Bitcoin that as long as it is above $57,000 on a very high term time frame closing basis, I don't really see a reason to be bearish, and I do think that this is overall a bear trap in the making. But in the more short term, I would be expecting ebbs and flows on Bitcoin. So without further ado, we can just jump right into this one, starting off with the statistics of the day, which is based off of this setup right here. This is a daily setup using the Krown VMP and also the Krown Quant Automation Service, as you can see in the background. Basically, anytime that VMP is extremely low, plus a daily uptrend, we have seen these statistics over here as relevant over, I believe, the full history of Bitcoin, going over 64 total trades for the daily. Obviously, the daily doesn't trade all that often, but I should first and foremost acknowledge that this is a rather low probability to work out at just below 33%. In fact, we did just see the last setup, if you recall, back in March, fail. But of course, I mean, below 50% probability, more likely to fail than not. So theoretically speaking, what we're about to go over here is less likely to actually happen in June, but I do believe that whenever we have one of these setups and a very obvious pivot, in this case, it did fire off at 58,300. Well, it's important to be aware of these things. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it gives you ideas of where things are likely to land. So let me just remove my face right in over here. If this one does indeed work out, what is the average winning trade that we would expect throughout the history of this signal? Over 41% actually, and on average for the losing side, 9%. In fact, it does have a just stop loss by percentage at 9%. So more likely technically to go 9% below the entry than not, which if that were to happen, that actually turned me extremely bearish. Which is, yeah, that would be all the way down at 53,300 or something like that. So technically about a almost 70% probability of that. Now, in the event that it does work out to the upside, 40% to the upside would put Bitcoin at about 81 to 82,000 bucks. Within, I believe, what was it? How long does this one take to work out? Yeah, average amount of bars in winning trade, 58 days, and average amount of bars in losing trade, 12 days. So in this case, this one fired off last Wednesday. So in the more near term, technically more likely to fail. But the longer that time does go on, we could deduce that Bitcoin more likely to play out the upside trajectory of that. I did forget to go over profit taking on this one. What is my profit taking metric? Oh yeah, we need to see the VMP percentile above 98. So that ain't happening anytime soon. So no real rush on this one. But again, that would suggest that we have about a 1 in 3 chance of Bitcoin going up to about 80,000 bucks around end of June. So now let's bring this down and go over some more actionable steps, maybe in the more near term, as to if Bitcoin were to meet these, then, well, it would imply that we're probably going to see the upside of that play out. And I'll still be going over the same thing as we were going over before, in the sense that we need to see a closure on CME above the median, or on CME would be like 65,500. On spot price action, probably a little bit closer to 65,000 bucks on a higher term time frame. I think CME is just a better chart to be using in this case, but above Tuesday of last week's high would start to look pretty good. Anyways, for CME, again, that's about 65,600. As of right now, we can see that the HPDRV is actually still declining. So technically speaking, we probably do see a test somewhere around there. And if you were to see a closure above there, I would say that that would be the next major domino to suggest and would greatly increase the probabilities, suggesting that Bitcoin does head somewhere around 80,000 bucks by end of June. Until that happens, however, it is wise to respect the trend, and the trend is your friend. And in this case, the trend is to the downside on the daily. And if you are bearish, anywhere below 65.5 on CME is where you would be expecting that next lower high. So it's kind of like what we said, I think a week or 2 weeks ago, where this isn't exactly where it would be, but very, very close to the maximum opportunity, actually for bears, because I think we were looking at that somewhere around here. Maybe this was last week. No, 2 weeks ago on the 25th. Yeah. As you would be, you would have been expecting a rejection right there. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Sorry, just having a conversation with myself, back checking my own analysis from a couple weeks ago. But yeah, we said the same thing kind of over here. This is a maximum opportunity for bears. This is where you would be expecting a rejection if you are bearish. Kind of the same thing over here. So yes, and while Bitcoin on CME does have a nice little gap coming down to mid-ish to low 63, could come back down there and fill there. It doesn't really mean all that much. Basically, on the daily here for CME, as long as it's closing above 63, not really much for the bears either. But below 63, I would be expecting another move down to probably $60,000 again. Technically speaking, that would be an opportunity, though. I would be expecting another attempt for a bounce off of 60,000 if that does happen. Wouldn't necessarily call a catastrophic new low from that region. So what am I trying to say? Above 65.5 on CME or about 65 on spot price action for Bitcoin. That would be the next sort of major domino, suggesting that Bitcoin is actually going to pull itself through and likely play out at least back up towards 70 or 71,000 bucks. I mean, again, here on the weekly, if we continue to see volatility contraction, that is going to favor a move back up to the median, which right now is at 72. Obviously, that's going to come down at the end of this week, but I'd imagine somewhere around 70,000 bucks. So the more boring that this gets in the month of May, the more and more that is going to favor the bulls. But in the short term, if there is going to be a breakdown, that is when it would most likely happen between now and the second week of this month of May. That is when the bears have the ball in their court. If they fail to continue to bring things down before then, probabilities will shift massively in the favor of the Bullahs. You're going to probably see the first sort of domino of that effect fall if Bitcoin starts to close above, again, 65.5 or 65 even, depending upon whether you're looking at CME or spot price action. I want to reiterate, however, one of the major points that we made from last week, and it was this, and it was very important coming in from the Fed speak on, I think it was last Wednesday or Thursday, with and also Yellen speaking as well. And what is it? Well, one, QT is ending, and two, it seems like the reverse repo markets are going to start maybe back up again as well. It seems like there's those sort of talks going on in the background. It seems like the Fed wants to intervene yet again, which I mean is like, if you truly understand what the Fed is like meant to do, like their mandate, right? It's not like job stability or interest rate stability or anything like that. It's stability of the financial system. And so they'll do whatever it takes. At least that's what I've seen in my career, and that's what also some of the other, in my opinion, best analysts have seen as well. So, anyways, that's just one thing that I feel like you can kind of count on in the background. They will step in when the markets do need them, and as far as traditional markets go over here, pretty damn good move there. Anywhere back above 18,350, and it's hard not to be bullish on this. I mean, it did just play out, another 8% correction on NASDAQ, and that has been the flavor of corrections throughout this current cycle for the most part. Anyways, okay, so we've gone through that. Anything else? I do want to actually revisit the 2-day time frame stochastic momentum trendline regression going on here. Technically is to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 63,700 on a closing base. Does look weak to me, to be fair. What the fuck? My phone is listening to me and talking and doing all sorts of weird shit in the background. That is concerning. That is super concerning. They're listening. Holy shit, the conspiracy theorists are right. They can't handle my analysis, man. The elites are coming after me. Oh boy. It's really hard being me. Sorry. If you don't understand what I'm making fun of there, it's all these fucking morons who think that who like egos are so big that they think that like the elites are coming after me, sir. It's like I'm too powerful. I'm not too powerful, okay? I'm just a fucking derp looking at internet magic money and lines on my chart. Anyways, I think that's probably going to do it for today. Again, a long way of saying 65.5 versus about, what was it over here? Oh, man, I lost my damn numbers. Back on over here, yeah, 63 about to the downside. Until we get a resolution of one of those, I don't really have anything super concrete to be making out of this current price action. Generally speaking, I do favor like a short-term shot to the downside and then long-term continuation to the upside. Just like a quick little fake out. But yeah, that's probably gonna do it for me today. And we'll leave things off right there. As always, I want to wish you the best of the best. Nice little boring day. Take care. Much love, and fuck you, and see you tomorrow.